Well, that was a game. Whatever that was a game. I'm referring to the Patriot Buffalo Bills Monday night game that happened yesterday. As you guys might have seen on my YouTube page, I was actually at the Boston Red Sox parade since they won the World Series last week. And the Red Sox means a lot, especially to my family. So I participated in that, had great viewing. You can see the whole video. I get some close-ups of some really big names in the Boston Red Sox. So, if you're interested in that, go for it. I mean, again, I know some of you guys are just here for Walking Dead, just here maybe for some gameplay stuff. I should probably make some sort of channel update for you guys because there's a few things going on in different venues of the content that I usually do. But for now, we're going to review the Patriots and the Bills. This was kind of an ugly game. People say that divisional road games are always tough, just for any team, because this is a team that the Patriots play it always 2 times a year. Every single year, no matter what, the Patriots will play the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills twice. And the Bills will come to Gillette, and the Patriots will go to the Bills' home stadium. They've actually yet to play the Jets. I'm not sure. They'll most likely beat them. They played the Dolphins at home, played the Bills away, so they still have to play the Bills at home. They have to go to Miami, which Tom Brady somehow always seems to suck ass at. I don't know why, if it's just the heat or whatever. I mean, I'll have a review of that game when it comes out. I mean, they didn't do too well last year when they were facing the Dolphins away, so I'm just kind of going off of history here. But if you want some other history, the most wins by a quarterback against one team is Tom Brady versus the Bills. I mean, if you really... They were doing some infographics on Tom Brady and just, like, what he's done against this team. And it's just... If you're a Bills fan, like, I can understand, I guess, why you would hate the Patriots and Tom Brady. Because this team is literally your kryptonite in every way. The reason why you haven't gotten to the playoffs, the reason you have losing records, it's literally because of the New England Patriots. So, I mean, this team, though, I got to say, for a team that... So the biggest problem with the Bills, which I knew going into this game, which the thing is, I went into this game saying they're going to win. The Patriots are going to win by like 3-4 touchdowns. It's going to be just like that Miami game that they had at home where Brady silenced all the naysayers after being 1-2, and he put the Patriots right back on track, and now they're 6-2. This was a little different. This was a 25-6 victory, and there was a defensive score at the end there that sealed the game. So the Bills' defense actually wasn't that bad. The Bills' defense was holding up its end of the bargain for the most part. Every single time the Patriots were getting into the red zone, they weren't putting the ball in the end zone. Now, against other teams, that's the way that Tom Brady usually wins. He usually uses his superior quarterback skills to get to his receivers or to run the ball with whatever running backs he has, which is also a problem I'll get to. But he usually gets that sizable lead. The defense might let up some plays, but they're never going to let up too many touchdowns, maybe a few field goals, but that's usually how Brady keeps his lead. This game, it felt like the opposite because the Patriots were literally, every time they got in the red zone, they were kicking field goals. I think it was 1-2. So at halftime, the score of this game was 9-6. The Patriots did not score a touchdown in the first half of this game, and then they scored a touchdown, failed on the 2-point conversion to make it a 14-point game. And then it was looking pretty dire because it looked like the Bills were within scoring range, and there was a touchdown that was called on the field to make it 14-12, but then on replay, it showed that the ball hit the turf before he ever got control of it. It was a pretty good acting job by the receiver. And then on the next play, interception, McCourty takes it all the way, takes it the distance into the end zone, basically ensuring that the Patriots would win the game by like 2-3 scores. Because the Bills were driving the ball, and they were in the red zone. They were going to come away with at least a field goal on that possession and try to keep the game close. And McCourty just literally pops, like just completely. He's staring down the quarterback. He knows exactly the pick he's going to throw, and he just jumps it. It reminded me like a Malcolm Butler play from that Super Bowl. Literally just jumping the route and exploding for however many yards that was on that play. Pretty much the play of the game. Gronkowski had a really cool catch where he caught like a ball over a defender and then kept his feet in bounds. It was almost overturned, but it came in our favor. Some other things with this game, Josh Gordon, there was all this drama that Josh Gordon was benched for being late, which... So, first of all, it never happened. Josh Gordon played the first quarter of this game. The original rumor was that Josh Gordon was not going to play the first quarter because of tardiness. He did play the first quarter, and then in the press conference, they asked Josh Gordon what that was about. He said, you're going to have to ask the coach. They asked Coach Belichick, our man over here, and he says, I don't know what you're really talking about. Like, so the whole Patriot staff feigned ignorance. So, did it happen? Maybe, but maybe it's something they just wanted to internally deal with. Maybe they would want there, because this always happens with the media. There's always a media circus over some little thing, and it gives the sports columnists stuff to talk about, like I'm kind of doing right now. But I just think it's not football related. It's just more behavioral issues. And I mean, there was one deep ball that Josh Gordon could have got. Brady was blaming it on the wind. I guess this is a windy game that was affecting where the ball was going to drop. And I mean, that was quite a floater that Brady put up. And he had pressure in his face. Again, this defense from the Bills was getting pressure on him. It was. And so it was really. But the thing is with the Bills. They didn't have a quarterback. Their quarterback that they had, this Dwayne, or whatever the heck his name, I don't even know. I don't even remember the guy's name, but he was playing golf 3 weeks ago and then jumped into the NFL, and then he's with the Bills because the Bills quarterback that they got from the draft got hurt. That Peterson guy is god-awful, so they didn't want to resort to him. So it's literally like they had this thing where they went through all of these Bills quarterbacks. The original quarterback that they had went to the Browns, and of course we know that Baker Mayfield got the start. So it was a bit of a frustrating game. So Julian Edelman had 9 catches for a team-high 104 yards. So if we're going to say anything about this offense and what it did, we can start with Julian Edelman. He had a rusher. Tom Brady ran almost for his 1,000 yards. He got a first down on his own with his legs. The problem is the running back is a problem, and I'm going to say this right now. The running back is just it's a flat out problem with the New England Patriots, and I really hope that Sonny Michel is able to make an appearance in this Packers game because it's a weakness of the Patriots. Like, you need to mix it up and run the ball to keep yourself competitive. You can't just keep passing it. And yeah, Brady has Gronk and Gordon and Edelman and Hogan, but you can't always rely on that. Like, yeah, you got Brady, and maybe that's why they're getting away with it more because Brady is Brady, but you need to have that mix-up with running the ball. And you have James White, but they use James White as more of a receiving option. Like, James White is catching balls out of the backfield more than he is running it. Now, he was able to pick up the slack for Sonny Michel by running it in the Bears game last week, but you don't want him to get hurt because he really is a captain. Like, he is really an offensive leader who, I mean, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx him or anything, that hasn't really been injured, played straight through. I mean, from being the savior of Super Bowl 51, like, he's seen a lot of offensive snaps. And when Brady loses a lot of his weapons, like last week when he didn't have Gronk, he's been using James White as a receiving option, mixing it up. And James White is such a competitive guy. I just love that he stepped up when the other running backs have been have not been available, and it's been great. He's just been he's been really a savior of the offense, James White, to help Tom Brady out, and that's really great. But they got this other running back, Kenjon Barner, who's just some rookie that they picked up. He was on their practice squad, and they were juggling him around, and now they have to use him because Sonny Michel's hurt. Freaking, they had Jeremy Hill. He got hurt. Rex Burkhead has a neck injury. Like, so many of their injuries have been to their running game, and it's so frustrating because in years past they had LeGarrette Blount, who they could use his blunt force drama. They could use that to get yards, and that was a huge factor. And they don't have that anymore. So I don't know. The trade deadline came and went. Bill didn't make any moves. His only move was Josh Gordon a few weeks ago. You could have gone for. They were looking possibly at a safety, defensive end. I don't know. They didn't end up making that trade, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see where things go. Well, we will, because we're coming upon a huge game against the Packers. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch it from beginning to end because it's the same. Of course, the NFL does this to me. It's the same exact time as the Walking Dead episode where Rick Grimes, his last episode, basically the main character of The Walking Dead is leaving The Walking Dead, and I want to cover it, and I have to choose between watching the Patriot Packers or doing my review. And basically reviewing and reacting to probably the most important episode of the show ever. So I will be able to watch 40 minutes of the game because the game starts at 8:20. The Walking Dead doesn't start till 9. So I'll be able to watch maybe the first half of the game. I'll take down notes, make sure I have some assessment. And then I'm just going to have to flip between it. And then once the show's done, it's an hour-long episode. I'll just have to check the game. I hope that, once I get to the third, fourth quarter, there aren't any surprises for me about what's happening. Based on how the first half of the game is going, I guess I'll be able to see that. It just concerns me because this Belichick defense is so torchable, and it's Aaron Rodgers. Now, the excuse of last week, it was like, oh, the Bills have a shitty quarterback. Now you're facing a team that has a good quarterback. One of the best. The one that people argue is better than Brady. In this game, people are going to use that as the deciding game. Like, oh, is Aaron Rodgers better than Brady? Even though he only has one Super Bowl ring and his playoff record is far worse than Brady's, and he'll never get to Brady's level of playoff records and contention. People still say that because of the things Rodgers can do with his legs, rolling to his left, rolling to his right, the plays that he makes, and the Hail Marys that he's had over the years. I just, his lack of postseason success has kept him from really being in that upper conversation. And he's in the upper conversation because of what he's done with his career. But to get into that upper conversation, you got to have because Brady has both. He's got the numbers, and then he's also got the championships. Rodgers may have the numbers, but he doesn't have the championships. He's got one Super Bowl ring. And yeah, so... I mean, someone made a joke that Jimmy G has more Super Bowl rings than Aaron Rodgers. But again, you can't, in some circumstances, in many, you can't rate the quality of a quarterback by the number of championships they have. But I'm saying that Brady's numbers statistically are ultra competitive with Rodgers, and he's got the championship. So adding those together, it makes him better than Rodgers. Rodgers may have really good numbers, but his postseason success is in the negatives. He's 6-7 in the postseason. He's in the negatives for his postseason success. So, that could change this season, but there's a lot of big NFC teams. So, and that's the other thing. The two teams, they play in different divisions. One's AFC, one's NFC. So, you can't, because and people say that too. Oh, well, what if Aaron Rodgers was under Bill Belichick's, his coach? And it's like, that's a hypothetical. That will never happen. He's been with McCarthy. So I mean, people need to stop the what ifs. I mean, I could do what ifs with 1,000 games. All right. When I was younger, Super Bowl 42, the Super Bowl that the Patriots were going to be undefeated, I can't tell you how many what ifs I fucking threw out after that game was over. All right. Especially the holding call that was never called on the Tyree catch that probably would have negated that play and ensured that the Patriots won. Just FYI, you can't choke a guy and, well, I guess if the refs don't call it, you can, but you're not supposed to, and it is against the rules, and it wasn't called. So, anyway, not going to go down there. We're getting off topic here. I'm jumping forward to next week. There were just things with the offense that just looked ugly to me. They had Cordell Patterson moving out of the backfield at running back. Like, they were using a punt returner and receiver as a running back to mix things up because they didn't have one. Like, in that situation, you need to get your running game back. The Bills were doing trick plays. They were... Some of them were working at the beginning of the game, but they just stopped doing them once they didn't get a couple of them going. I'm trying to see what else. And then so the Bills for offense, they knew their quarterback couldn't throw it, so they relied on LaShawn McCoy they have a really good running back, so they were relying on him to get the ball and get them yardage. But the Patriots eventually they figured out what the Bills were doing, and they just stopped McCoy in the backfield, and then the whole offensive plan of the Bills just collapsed. McCoy started the game with a 12-yard run. He never really got going. Trey Flowers, big. He was really effective. Van Noy was very effective. I'm talking defensive here. Devin McCourty had that interception, as I mentioned earlier on. Brady's 29th career win against the Bills, setting an NFL record for most wins against a single franchise. That dude, that's just... I would hate to be a Bills fan and to have that, just to know that there's a team that has a record against all other teams. All other teams. You are in the history books right now for the worst possible thing, for losing the most games, and this is a team that's been to the Super Bowl 4 times and has lost all 4. This is just a team that just has an L. I'm trying to make an L. Permanently hanging over them, and hey, I mean, I saw a lot of passionate fans on Monday night, so more power to them, but it baffles me in a lot of situations. So so that's my review. So now to end this video, I kind of have to preview the Packers game now, don't I? Oh boy. I want to be optimistic and say the Patriots are going to win. Because this is going to be similar to that Chiefs game. Who has the ball last when the clock hits 0? Because both Brady and Rodgers have engineered miracle comebacks. So it's literally going to be a matter of who has the ball last. Now, the Packers actually... There was some good news this week because they lost 2 of their star players. Clinton Dix, a safety, and Ty Montgomery, who has been involved in all of that drama where he took the ball out of the end zone in that Rams game and fumbled it. So they lost 2 of their star players, but were they really putting up numbers that the Packers were impressed with? So is it really a loss? I mean, this Packers team has been struggling so far this year, so part of me wants to say that the Patriots can get the edge. The last time the Patriots played the Packers in 2014, it was a close game. They only lost by 5 points. And that was because Gostowski, they went for Gostowski's field goal to get closer, and he missed it, so they had to go for a touchdown. So, again, this game really could go either way. I want to be optimistic. I'm going to say the Patriots will win by a touchdown. I got 30-23 Patriots. That's the score that I'm going to predict for next week. Not sure if it'll happen, but I am optimistic about this one. So, that's my video review of the Bills. It was kind of an ugly game. I was really raging for a lot of it because of just how the offense was performing. But I hope that I hope the Patriots are firing on all cylinders. Hopefully, Clay Matthews doesn't get any more roughing the passers on Brady. I don't really want to see Brady get hurt. Because, again, Clay Matthews has been flagged for that 3 times against 3 different teams. Granted, some of them were ridiculous, but at the same time, putting your weight on the quarterback, you can't do it. It's just rules. So yeah, it's gonna be a big game. The reason I'm also giving the Patriots the edge is because they're playing a home game. This is in Gillette Stadium, so you're gonna have the crowd on your side, and you're gonna have some loud fans who are gonna try to throw Rodgers off his game. Now then again, I mean, Rodgers, he does fine under pressure. I mean, look at that game against the divisional game against the Cardinals where he tied it with that miracle Hail Mary. So that's another thing. If this man throws a Hail Mary, there's a 90% chance, or actually maybe not that much, maybe 70% chance. 70% chance that ball might go in the end zone and be a touchdown. Because he's done this many times before. So it was almost like that Trubisky play with the Bears where he almost got it in the end zone. So if I see Rodgers flinging that for a Hail Mary, if he's in a situation where he needs to score points, I'm going to be like on the floor like, oh my God, someone on the defense, please do something. And Gronk better be playing. So if they're in a situation where it's like the fourth quarter and Rodgers throws a Hail Mary, that's why Gronk's important. That's why not having Gronk in that Bears game was bad, because Gronk is so big and tall, he can just swat balls down that are Hail Mary. So yeah, guys, big game. This is going to be a huge, bigly, I'm using all the Trump words, bigly huge game. Probably Monday I'll have that review because I'm going to want to talk about The Walking Dead on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, we're steamrolling through the season here. To go to 7-2, the thing is, the Patriots have to win. They're in a situation where they need to win their games, because the Chiefs are going to have home field advantage. If this gets to an AFC Championship game of the Patriots versus the Chiefs will have home field advantage. So, or even a divisional game. Like, they can't have that. Like, the Patriots having home field is a must for that game, because they squeaked out the win in the regular season, but I'm concerned otherwise. So, seriously, like, I think if they could beat the Packers and the Steelers, the Packers, Steelers, and the Vikings are their next 3 big challenges. The other games they play, I think they can win them all. They're all divisional games against weak opponents. 2 against the Jets, 1 Miami, another against the Bills. So those are, freebies, as people say. But the other games they don't usually play, those are where the challenges are going to come in. Luckily, for 2 out of 3 of those are home games. The Vikings and the Packers are both home games. The Steelers somehow is always an away game. It was an away game last year. I don't know why. Steelers aren't as good as they were last year. So much infighting. Fucking Le'Veon Bell might not even be there. But that's a conversation for another day. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll be back with more Patriot-related content later. I'm getting hyped. I mean, we're moving into a big part of the season here, and only bigger and better things can happen. Come on, Brady. I mean, you got to live up to it. I mean, the Red Sox just won the World Series. Let's get 2 Boston championships. Let's get that Super Bowl 53 right there, and give Brady a 6th ring to tie those freaking Steelers. So, see you guys.